It's my honor to invite Dr. L. Gopi Chandran. Dr. L. Gopi Chandran is currently working as Associate Professor at AIMS, New Delhi. He has he has 23 years of professional experience and has published many papers in international and national journals. He was an ex-vice president of Trained Nurses Association of India, Delhi branch. Now you can start your session, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for your introductions. Good afternoon to everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Clement and the team who invited me to part of the program. Really, it's a very good, we especially be part of this program and part of the panelists who are very expert in this area. Today, I just, because, already we are out of the time and I had due to my official commitment, I was not able to come in between. And this session is supposed to be the middle, but still, at least I can able to share some experience, and definitely it may going to help all today. I think this is the critical care concerns we today about COVID pandemic. We want the patient to survive. The survivability is again, it's a really depending upon multiple factors, especially the patient with a comorbidity, other immune compromised conditions, patient who are having, and all it's maybe the diplomatically you can say that it may determining the outcome of the patient. But still, as today in India, it's completely believed that how nurses capable to manage the patients with their knowledge, their skills, especially in concern about today the critical care management at the time of where the patient is critically ill, especially the COVID, as Madam Maladi Bindu Madam is explained about non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema, because it's a completely respiratory conditions, pathology. It may lead to different multi-organ failure. Again, the state is very common. The clinical death is before that's a sequence happen or events have happened before the patient may declare to the death. That means that any organ failure, especially cardiac failure, the patient may lead to cardiogenic shock or maybe cardiac arrest. Still the patient, the cardiac arrest, still if there is early identification of the arrest by understanding or identifying the rhythm in cardiac monitor or maybe ECG, if you are there, there is no doctors. Today, you know that it's short of professionals, and due to their infected, we have that we are highly demand on the professionals. If nurses are capable to interpret the ECG at right time, early identification of lethal arrhythmias, then definitely you can revert the patient, and definitely the outcome will be different. Same patient, you can see them again. So ECG is the most concern today. It's not only for critical care or cardiac nurses. Any nurse today, even I have done so many programs on this. If really interested to learn further, because 30 minutes, it's not at all possible to complete the ECG. But still, I wanted to give you just sensitization to make you to be interested to learn ECG in the further. I think everyone knows that what is ECG. Electrocardiogram, it's a recording the representation of the electrical event of the cardiac cycle. And recording the electrical current which is flowing between the two electrodes made on graph paper and displayed on the monitor. And overall, we know that the cardiac is heart is the as I am cardiac nurse specialist, I always happy to express the word. This is a very core organ in the body. It's never stopped to work, even the brain to take a rest during sleep. But this is always the work of the heart is just collecting the blood and ejecting the collection and ejection is the function. It's called pumping organ. It's a cone shaped, but still this is coordination of the activity of mechanical and electrical activity. Because ECG all the time you believe that it is only recording electrical activity. That is even though in ECG you can able to interpret the structure of the heart. Is there any problem? Like ECG able to reveal it, to diagnose it. Again, the electrical disturbance again can trace through the ECG. So ECG means not only the representation which is not giving only the electrical current flow, we also give any change in structural problem. That's why we are talking about structural, because the mechanical activity of the heart, that means that stroke volume, preload, afterload, and contractility, all it's majorly is determining by cardiac structure. Because how the structure and valves which is present, which is regulating the blood flow from either the ventricle or atrium between the fourth chamber, which is determining pulmonary systemic circulation. If the heart failed to work, we say cardiac failure. But again, the heart failure, it's again neurohormonal mechanism controlling the cardiac structure and again regulated by again control, or we can say depend on entirely. That's why today MI, it's one of the major mortality. We always look into that. We say that we always threaten with a myocardial infarction or CAD. Why? Because once we get into block over there, the heart itself will get into less perfusion and heart stop to work. That leads to, maybe we can say that cardiogenic shock or cardiac arrest. That's why we are always say that we are dependent on heart, the heart is dependent on coronary circulation. So again, we talk about that electrical system that everyone know about conductive pathway, but we always know about know about conductive pathway because that impulses generate from SA node to AV node and all bundle and branches and including fascicular. But still, one more to know. Even I used to tell them every myocardium can able to fire even by 30 beats per minute. Even that the failure of the conductive system, still the heart myocardial cell can able to fire. That's one of the most important message. Everyone should know that. But same myocardium, the fire rapidly without any control. That is called automaticity, and say with contractility, conductibility, excitability. The unique feature of that myocardium, which is no other cells can replace, never replaces myocardium. That's why this again is due to irritation. Even I say pulmonary edema or respiratory problem, decreased oxygenation. Again, due to MI, whatever the ischemia, necrosis, whatever happened, the result myocardial cell will fire automatically without control. That is called arrhythmia. That is the result only we are getting into all arrhythmic problems. But again, this myocardium, it's we always come to know ECG. Why the ECG waves are like this? Why the R waves are like this? Why we can say that it's a positive deflection, negative deflection? This all matter of one very important, basic concept to understand by yourself. That is positively charged cell. That means positively charged. Usually, the resting potential of the myocardium is negatively charged. That means the patient is relaxed. I mean, the heart is relaxed manner. That time the heart is have minus 90 millivolt. That means a negatively charged. Once the ion movement, that's why we always worry about potassium. Hypohyperkalemia is the irreversible, the cause which is called cardiac arrest. That's why we always, worry about electrolyte. Ion movement, that sodium is coming inside, positively charged. Again, the potassium is out, and again calcium in, and again potassium out. This all is a matter of that the changes in the phase from 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is all called summative of the ECG. But why we can say ECG defined it, it's a summative of the cardiac action potential. Again, how the ECG machine works? We know, everyone know that the ECG machine have the machines which have that heated stylus move with the voltage change as paper moves beneath. That means that is what the deflection, whatever we are getting, that is what the positively charged. I told when ion movement is there, sodium, the positively charged is moving towards a positive electrode, so we are getting positive deflection. When there is a negative, that is negative deflection again side, like we can say Q wave, or that negatively declared because moving to the negative or away from the positive electrode. This is the concept only we are going to learn before moving to the identifying the lethal arrhythmias. The concept of the lead, always have the doubt between lead and the electrode. Electrode, that means whatever we are placing for the patient. The lead, the electrodes are forming the leads. That's why we keep 10 electrodes, but that electrodes are forming 12 leads. Why we keep 12 leads? Even we can with 2 leads, 5 leads, that's an lead to enough to see that how the cardiac function, especially the cardiac cycle. But 12 leads help you to cover entire heart surface, which we are seeing from different angles to see in photography. That you see that any problem, any pathology in any area, you want to see in right side, left side, anterior, posterior. That's why we keep this 12 lead. That means unipolar and bipolar leads, like lead 1, lead 2, lead 3, and again AVF, AVR, V2, V3, V4, V5 phase. This means this is lead 1, it's bipolar. Why bipolar? 2 leads are, 2 electrodes are forming 1 lead. That's why we can say lead 1, that is the activity going from right arm to left arm. We know that how to keep the electrode. Still, due to short time, I'm just to brief about it. Lead 2 is again activity going from right arm to the left arm. Again, lead 3 activity going from left arm to left leg. Again, this is one of the different leads that is called augmented lead. That leads are forming automatically from the, that's called AVL, AVF, AVR. Again, these all chest leads. Especially you want to rule out MI, we need these chest leads. Then only we can cover entire surface. Even you can go for 18 leads, you want to go into a diagnose of post MI. This all, again, that between that, the surface of the chest, fourth intercostal, the right sternum, V1, V2, again to the left sternum, V3 in between V2, V4, again V4, fifth intercostal in the mid clavicular line. If you know the anatomic mark, you can be able to place it as a nurse, even maybe the student by second year, they come to know how to keep the lead positions. But this, once you keep it, when you see the, if you come to the, any lead, you take it, especially the lead 2, you consider to be the reference lead. When you come to this type of, the waves are giving that the representing about the cardiac cycle. What is cardiac cycle? Everyone know that. This P wave and QRS complex and T wave. There is an interval between that. That means P wave for atrial depolarization. This is always happening between right and left atrium. Both are together is happening. The first part is right side and second is left side. So that's why we must very much particular about P wave, and also when the P wave is there, that means sinus rhythm. Sinus atrium is it's an impulse originate from SA node. Again, the QRS complex, it is representing the ventricular. That means ventricular depolarization. This is ventricular repolarization. Again, this conductive pathway is good or not. Again, we must know about ventricular activity. We can go to QT interval. Because why I'm telling all, you can understand that the completion of cardiac cycle with the inclusion of atrial depolarization and atrial depolarization, ventricular depolarization, and ventricular repolarization. But when atrial depolarization is hidden over here, but that is not repeating, but otherwise all the activities are observed or maybe represented through the ECG wave. Then if we have that, if we have to, why this positive, why this positive, why this positive, why this is negative, this is called, when we can say nomenclature, we can say this is a rule. We can able to say whether the ECG normal. You can see in ECG, you can see AVR is completely negative. Is it normal? Yes, normal. Why this happening? Or how you can see that? Because if you are the beginner of the ECG, you are reading, it's very, very difficult to understand why the differentiation in the waves. But when you understand the concept basic, we can able to very well understand that why this happening. We say always lead 2 is the reference lead. I will show to you what is the reason before. But first, I would like to say what is very, very important principle behind it. Why the positive, negative deflection? I already explained to you that placing of electrode, from positive electrode, negative electrode, again lead 1, lead 2, lead 3. So all are we are keeping the electrode positive and negative electrode. That depolarization wave, either in the atrium or ventricle, which is moving toward the positive electrode, will give upward deflection. That means positive, moving upward. The waves are moving upward. Then again, same depolarization away from the positive electrode, it causes negative deflection. Again, depolarization wave moving perpendicular. Some of the waves are like, not moving up and down. You can see in lead 2, lead 3. It is not like, it's look like bypassing. It is not completely positively deflected. R wave not look completely positive. It's like bypassing. Little bit up, little bit down. This is due to that electrode that moves perpendicular to the positive electrode. It is going middle. And again, charges, once I told you, when positively charged, depolarization means the ion movement, sodium is coming in positively charged into that, the cell. That time moving to the positive electrode. It's very, very important to understand. Again that, opposite reverse way, again, potassium coming out during the time rectifier, relaxed remain, again, negatively charged. Negatively, positively charged is depolarized state cell, negatively charged repolarized state, but moving towards the positive electrode, we'll get positive reflection. Again, the repolarization opposite time, again, same manner, moving towards the positive electrode, negative repolarization from positive electrode, positive deflection. Then again, same, both I told you, both are, going middle between positive and negative. It is called bypassing. So this is the basic thing. If you understand now, you look into that lead to ECT. All are start from the depolarizations stop from top of the atria downward all direction. Again, all summatively to form that. You can see the big vector it is coming. That's why you can see that P waves are you can look like positively deflected because moving toward the electrode which is positive. Lead 2 is a positive electrode we are keeping here, and again this is moving towards the positive electrode. The 60-degree angle. That's why we say reference lead, because why we call reference lead, because it's moving towards the same conductive pathway. Whenever the conductive pathway, same flow, the waves are moving, we can say reference lead. That's why lead 2, whenever you go to any of the cardiac monitor, a patient with a critical care unit, they keep it, they set lead 2. Otherwise, they want to know differential diagnosis, they look into the other leads. the patient with the MI, they want to look at some of the specific to the lead, we do, then may click it. Even they can keep 2-3 leads, no problem. But mostly they want to look into monitor the patient exactly because they have no confusion. This is the waves, this is the morphology for P and QRX. Any differentiation to easily to diagnose, they keep always lead to. So this is one of the reason they called as lead to is the reference lead. And again moving towards again there is no electrical activity during this PR interval. That's why it is called you can say that how that the morphology which will be possibly get reflected. Again, ventricular depolarization. Again, you come to the first deptal. Why we can say the first negative deflection is Q wave. You see in Q wave, the first negative deflection. First negative deflection. You can see the first negative deflection. Why? Because during the septal depolarization, these waves are moving out of the positive electrode. This is the electrode. This is the moving out, in and out, in and out. This is called septal contraction. This is septal depolarization. It's moving out. That's why it is negative deflection. So Q wave is negative deflected. It's a normal. Means the ECG looks normal. Again, you go into that, come to the again repolarization begin. Before repolarization, that again the septum again to be coming into the again out to in or laxed. Again we get into the T wave. When the T wave is forming, why getting T wave again positive? You may think it is negatively charged due to the negatively charged cells, because negatively we can say negatively charged cell moving out of the positive electrode. That's why we are getting into positive looking very upward directions. So you may have the questions, P waves depolarized waves and QRS are positively charged. That's why it's getting R waves are positive deflection. Why the T wave is again supposed to be a negative deflection? Because negatively charged. But same principle we can apply here. Negatively charged, we can say that it is the patient, the cardiac is the relaxed state, repolarized state. But again, going away from positive electrode, going away because the wave are moving out, same like wave. That's why it is away from positive electrode. That's what it is called, positively. Because the rule always negatively charged, again away from positive electrode. That's why the T waves are always the positive deflections. So this is the basic thing. If you understand, is that whatever ECG you look at that, especially into, is that P wave is positively deflected normal, QRS is positive deflected normal, T wave is positive deflected normal. If it is opposite, you can understand there is a problem in the ECG. And again, so many things, other things look into the ECG. So again, the steps, there is a few steps you always follow. Even you are basic, you don't know anything about ECG. If you follow this step, you may be a little bit familiar about ECG. Number one, determine the rhythm. Rhythm is the most important, whether regular or irregular. It's because we are getting that cardiac cycle. It means P wave, QRS, all are forming at the right interval. That is called rhythm. And rate, again, the rate is most, even we all the time check the heart rate, pulse, because we know that its contractility is there or not. That means output is good. Again, P wave, again representing the ATL depolarizations. Either we want to know, is it properly contracting or not, atrium. Again, PR interval, especially with the heart block patients, we want to know whether there is the conduction is regular. Is there any disturbance in the conduction pathway? Again, QRS most important because the ventricle is which is determining the cardiac output. It's everyone know about it. If there is a problem in the ventricle, is the arrhythmia originated ventricle, the morphology of the QRS wave will be changed. That means there is maybe narrow or wide, or maybe it's irregular, or maybe there is no. Or sometimes we start with only the ventricle origin, ventricle only QRS you will find out, especially in ventricular tachycardia or fibrillation. So that way we have to be very specific about how the QRS reflects. Again, T wave, again we know that mostly MI patient also will look into the T wave inverted. Even T wave is positively deflected, we say that there is a MI, there is a ischemia. Because the most important concern about T wave, because that will give you a lot of message. Because I already told you earlier also, if there is problem in the coronary artery, that's most because get into cardiac arrest. Whatever that pathology, even due to CED or whatever, still we always look into angina. It's something is more, fatal, and we ought to be treated immediately. So T wave, look into T wave is most concern. Again, QT interval. Earlier nurses ignore that what is QT interval. Now it's again the outcome of that cardiac output is majorly depend on ventricle. Even though all total function, totality, the function is atrium ventricle, but again left ventricle, it's most concerned because which is determining the systemic circulation. Again, QT interval means totality of the cardiac, ventricular activity. So we also look into that, how the QT interval, and another any abnormality also look into that. I'm just little go fast, and again, it will be may lose the time more. So determining rhythm, I already told you, is it rhythm is P wave or interval, both are going with a regular manner, that we can say regular or irregular. This is the first question in your mind. Is it going regularly? You see in the R wave, is it going regularly? You can measure it by calibrate it. Is it going regularly? Either P wave or R wave, whichever you identify, you have to look into that. Again, rate. Rate is many methods are there. If it is regular rhythm, you follow this one. If it is another RWave came in a lot of time and not following properly, there is no relation between P and the QRS complex. So that time you go into another step. But if it regularly coming, there is 1500 method. Means every 1500 small square can represent 1 minute. That's why we keep all 1500 divided by number of small square that get into number. Whatever you rate, heart rate, or which is depending on the monitor, you will calculate also. But it's more accurate than look into checking your pulse. So that's why during the time of when you give digoxin, some of the cardiac drugs we are giving, it may affect. They always look into ECG to calculate. Again, 300, because the total number of small square here to big number, because I'm not going to discuss more about because of time consuming. But again, small, big number also, number of large square between the two, P wave and or R wave, that also give you that summation of the rate. Again, 10 time methods. If not regular, you can calculate whatever that between RRT, between P wave, multiply into, 10. If you take it for 6 seconds, that also get into the heart rate. And this is a quick, like, we can say packet daily, you can keep it that anybody want to know quickly, how is the rate, instead of going calculation, rapid estimation, you can see how many large epochs the R wave, then you can 300. I mean, same like 2 large box and it is called 150. Again, within small boxes, because why we think small box are important? Because you want to calculate accurately, you have to consider small box. Even just roughly, you can say this is number 70 to 74. You can go with a large block. So the block itself give a lot of difference when you're calculating the rate. The morphology, I told you this P wave, one part is giving for left atrium, right atrium, another one for left atrium. That's why even left atrial ventricular enlargement also can be, identified through the P wave morphology. And again, today that atrial fibrillation is very common. It's a problem with everyone. So that also can, how that atrium is not contracting properly. It's a fibrillae is there. It is not completely contracting. So that also can be identified by the morphology of the P wave. Again, PR interval, then step 4, that there is a heart block. Again, you can say that the degree 1, degree 2, degree 3. Again, you can able to differentiate between the degree 2 itself by understanding the PR interval. I will constant manner or between the extending, PR interval, it take, longer, again, dropout will be there. So according to that, you can differentiate between the different blocks. That also we have to know. And again, you have to know a simple way to understand 3 small square. It's very simple to understand. That means the PR intervals, because we don't want able to, it's very difficult to calculate all things again, because always you see horizontal is duration. This all it's called representation. How much is the voltage that is representing by vertical, and horizontal duration of the cardiac cycle. So always we calculate the durations by number of the small square multiplied again by 0.4. So we always calculate that way. But still, I used to tell every my friends, please calculate number of small square. 3, okay, fine. It's maximum, okay, 5. It's enough. So it's not more than 5. It's not less than 3. So this is way we can able to calculate. Again, QR complex most important because it's a narrow and wide. Because wide complex QRX, this means lethal. Something the patient going to treat as a lethal condition. But narrow still can be manageable, not require a medication. Still can be treated and can be come out for the better outcome. Again, duration of the QRS complex. So again, I can able to calculate by 3. Again, 3 is the one good to remember for you. 3 small, you can say, okay, how to difference between narrow and wide? The 3. Less than 3, more than 3. So we can able to understand it's a wide QRS or narrow that calculate by the QRS duration. Again, T wave, already I told you, is it the T wave, how they deflected positively, negatively, depending upon the amplitude. I told the height is the most concern. Again, every deflection, the T wave is deflected, positive means again QRS will be deflected. Both are opposite sum, that is pathology. This is the most important point to remember. QRS complex positive, T waves. The example AVR, both are negative, normal. But same way, you have to always keep in mind there is deflection. Both are Q wave and QRS positive. That also give that interpretation that patient have ECG is normal. Again, duration of the QT interval, I already told you, this is 0.36 to 44. Mostly, as per my experience, QT interval to be calculated in every case working in the critical care unit. That makes a lot of benefit for that managing the patients. Why? Acute interval prolong, then only go for ectopic beat, again go for lethal arrhythmia. If you identify this early, okay, if you know the acute interval prolong, then we can early to inform to the consultant. They can start to treat earlier, then definitely it can prevent the cardiac arrest. Again, other component I told you that how it is originated, the rhythm and rate, and again you all know that the cardiac arrhythmia by classified different way. Like example, tachyarrhythmia, bradyarrhythmia. Again, we can go into the for the rhythm. We can say where it is originated, is atrial or ventricular or sinus node or AV node. So again, we can differentiate by different way. So other than that, there is a conductive disturbance and other pathology. It's differentiated. But again, we always careful that you look into all the way. Only I forget to tell you that it is not present. It's present, but I did not tell you the U wave, especially one of the most common condition, hypokalemia. We always look into that in the patient if you have presence of U wave. That also can give that because hyperkalemia, it's more fatal. You may lose the patient because due to it may lead to cardiac. Some of the arrhythmia I wanted to highlight because due to time constraint also, I'm just limited with very few arrhythmias because cardiac arrest patient, if you go into that, we already as a ACLS faculty and all the time I'm teaching my either doctor or nurses, I used to tell them two things. Either it's perfusing or non-perfusing rhythm. Perfusing rhythm, that means still the patient getting some, patient able to, have the venous rhythm, patient able to manage. Again, non-perfusing rhythm, still the patient is not able to perfuse due to that there is arrhythmia. But again, that arrhythmia again can be that divided into, you can understand that it is shockable, non-shockable rhythm. That means shockable, you can give shock, reverse the patient. Non-shockable rhythm, again, this patient, you cannot give shock, only you can manage with patient with epinephrine till any reversible causes. This is the basic protocol, whatever AHA, whatever IRC, whatever, the guideline, whichever, they focus on basic about this, how to manage the patient with the cardiac arrest, the basic. So without identifying the rhythm, defibrillator, they have legally allowed. If you really train that IR certificate, or maybe your institution is have that license, you can able to do the practice, and now we are trained the nurses to do the practice. So if you know that shock you give at the right time, definitely the patient will be reverted and patient can you definitely achieve the better outcome. Again, the tachycardia, ventricular tachycardia, in it's coupled rhythm, still you can see that rhythm is regular and 100 to 200. P wave is very difficult to detect. PR interval is you can, because I'm not able to see the P wave, very difficult. It's irregular. QRS 0.12 second or abnormal, and you see the association most important. P and QRS association. P wave is following QRS complex. That's definitely sinus rhythm. There is no association. We can say this is the problem. We can say heart block. We can say that is originated either from ventricle origin. That means only QRS will be present. That is called ventricular tachycardia. You can see the rhythm. It's a very typical rhythm. You can see in this ventricular tachycardia, especially ventricular tachycardia. Still, the patient can be, sometimes may treated with the medically. Again, patient may stable. But still the patient no pulse, unstable, patient with ventricular tachycardia, you need only to start it, and again the protocol will manage. But again, you must differentiate pulseless ventricular tachycardia is differentiated ventricular tachycardia. We consider pulseless ventricular tachycardia considered to be very lethal. That's why we have to follow. We have to follow the protocol, and you have to give the shock. You have to identify whatever it is. No people can see the rate is high. And again, you see the QRS, wide QRS complex, and there is no relation between P QRS. This is the way you can able to, every time you keep yourself to be, to follow the rule 1, 2, 3, 4. and the rhythm is regular because coming very following very properly. Whatever the rhythm is, when about vibration, but we can able to see whether it is regularly coming, not regularly coming. So regularly coming rhythm, but still the rate is high. Then again P wave, no P wave. This way you can go, then you can able to identify rhythm and you have to take it in pulse. Okay, pulses really cause. And this is different again monomorphic polymorphic. Monomorphic is all rhythms are look like all morphology looking very same morphology of that ventricular QRS complex. And again, it differentiated, we can say polymorphic treat very lethal, and the dose will be varied when you're treating the patients. Again, it's all examples. I can say I show some of the slide, ECG related to ventricular tachycardia. Again, ventricular fibrillation is another. Usually, the event will happen like this. Patient with ventricular tachycardia narrow complex, patient may land into pulseless ventricular tachycardia or ventricular tachycardia. Again, the patient, again, these all events, cardiac events, we move to the ventricular fibrillations. Again, ventricular fibrillation, you can see the differentiation between ventricular tachycardia patients, the difference. These are well organized because regularly coming, yes, all are not regular, and again, extremely irregular. And you see P wave, same like absent, rate is high, and everything is like, we cannot say, we cannot predict. It's a more lethal. We have no option that to go into the defibrillation. That's what we can call defibrillation. You are giving the shock against a fibrillation. That's defibrillation to revert the patient. These are all like examples I can show to you because time short. I'm just moving for further. And again, ventricular asystole. Okay, that is all. Whatever I told you earlier, this is shockable rhythm. Still, patient can be chances of outcome will be better. But non-shockable rhythm, that means this look like almost to be clinical death, we can say, because we say whenever you see asystole, we can say, but still we have to be very cautious. Before you can decide that asystole, you have to check your all protocol, flat line protocol, whether it is connected properly. Is there any, you can see sometime, you may not, it is very fine will be there. You may not increase the font, that means the size for seeing, look into the amplitude. So increase the amplitude, you could look into that exactly, whether sometimes patient, because of decreased amplitude, it look like flat line. After increase the amplitude, then you will come to know, yeah, it's normal, a patient maybe atrial fibrillation or ventricular tachycardia, some other rhythm will be there. So we have to be very careful. Even normal patients, sometimes we have very funny experiences. Patient is sitting good and sleeping, then flat line will come sometime. They alert. All very funny experiences we experience. The flow, the flat line protocol is the most important to follow and make sure that the patient is having asystole. Again, these all the things. See that after increasing that font, we can able to see that still there is a fine, ventricular, rhythm is coming. And again, dorsal is the point today, especially we most of the patient who are getting the drugs for the patient pandemic situation, they getting into land into DASR is the points because of cardiac toxicity, and we always tell them to that it's a different rhythm, different observation. We are looking into that. Again, we always tell them to observe same type of follow the steps to identify the dorsal is again we have to know what rate. Again, the rhythm is regular or irregular. Again, there is no P wave. Again, the PR interval not measurable. And again, it's look like one of the typical the morphology. We can say the wide is biserial and some deflecting downward, and also some deflect upward. That is one of the most specific morphology we can able to identify dorsal is the point. It should be one of the ventricular arrhythmia, ventricular tachycardia only in the classification, because today we have we know that the side effects are very common for the drugs which are taking for the COVID. We are may land. We have to be very specific. That's why I brought this again. Dorsal point to your concern. Again, PEA. PEA, it's one of the another one non-shockable rhythm, because here very interesting same like here it looks like sinus rhythm, but see the pulse, no pulse, because the organized rhythm there is no pulse. So in case this is considered to be the lethal arrhythmia, we have to treat them by epinephrine and identify the reversible cause and manage the patient quickly. So thank you for your invitation, and any questions? in
So
the
you can,
audience?
yes, sir. So you can answer the question by typing, sir. There
Yeah.
is some question you can type and you can answer.
Yeah, thank you once again for for the invitation and giving, because I know it's a very very wide topic, and I be here to just sensitize the nursing professionals who can able to build up more on ECG. Not only these arrhythmias, definitely these arrhythmia concern about critical care, and all problems related to cardiac through understanding ECG, you will definitely intervene earlier, and definitely the patient will benefit with a better outcome. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable insight on ECG interpretation in critical care.